Welcome to part 2 of the 1971 Buick Riviera boattail. First, I'd like to start off by apologizing the way that the last video ended. It's actually 100 degrees out here today, and what happened was the phone actually overheated that we're making a video with. I'm making this video with an LG V10 that has a really awesome camera and a lot of nice manual features on the phone. We'll be finishing this video, and let's go ahead on and start talking about the Buick. So, what we were actually discussing before the phone actually cut off, and the reason it cut off is because it overheated, was the interior of this car. So if you'll look at this car, we're going to have to replace the weather stripping in here. We're going to try to use this black interior. We're not going to try, we're actually going to do it. We're going to have to get the seat covers, and I believe they run around $600, $700 for the seat covers, and they're not like seat covers that you just put over bad seats. They're the actual replacement covers that you can actually get the new foam and put in the seat, and then you put the covers over top of them. They're black, they're diamond tough, they're exactly identical to the factory cut patterns, and so I think they run around $600 or $700 for the front and the back. We're going to have to replace the headliner with a new headliner, but we'll be able to actually use all of this right here, and then we'll be able to actually sell some of the other stuff, like the parts that we don't use on the parts car. We'll probably be selling to offset some of the costs of some of the new parts that we're going to have to buy. Some stuff we can't get, like the tail lights and the headlight bezels and stuff like that are going to have a lot of pitting in the chrome. So what we're going to have to do is actually send those pieces off and have them new triple dip chrome plated. So let's go around to the front of the car, and we're going to talk about what we're going to actually do. We're going to try to do a little bit of modifications to this car. Now, one thing about this car that I didn't like was the bumper. And if you'll see and look at this bumper, it's a two-part bumper with a license plate holder here. And you can also see that it continues all the way across on the top part. So what we'll do is we'll take this bottom part of this bumper down here, and we'll either polish this up back to the chrome that it is, if there's no dents in it, or we'll paint it black to match the rest of the car. And then this part right here, what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut this off right here and right here. We're going to take this point out. By doing this, you'll be able to see the grill, because the way the grill is, it slants. Now, the original one was plastic. We can get a stainless steel one that looks much better, and that's what we're going to put in here. And it's going to put a stainless steel grill in here, and it's going to come down, and it's going to be a point with a plate welded over right here and right here. And so that's the way that the front end is going to look. And if you want to go online and check it out and look at some of the other ones that are examples, like on images when you're doing an internet search of this car, you can see what it really does make a big difference when you take this point and cut it out, and it exposes the whole entire front grille of the car, and it makes it look a lot better. Now, I'm not one that likes to too much modern a car out, so I won't be putting an aftermarket stereo in the dash. We're going to use the original radio with the original 8-track player. What I might do is probably put an aftermarket radio under the seat or in the glove compartment somewhere, and use a remote to operate it, and we'll have some better speakers than what actually came in the car for the sound system. I want to actually get a new air conditioning system that doesn't use the old type of Freon, and we're going to use a new modern type of coolant and put that in it, so we'll have air conditioning. It's going to be no modification at all to the horsepower, so we're not going to like make this a high performance car or anything. We're going to go back with the original factory specs. I haven't really gotten into the engine too much, so I'm not sure if it really needs to be bored out to like 5 over or whatever, and add 5, you know. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pop this hood, and we're going to take a look at what we got going on underneath of the hood of this car. Like I said, they had already started renovating this car, restoring it, and So now we got the hood up on this car, and it looks like to me that they've actually came up underneath of this hood and done some actual painting and stuff like that. It's in pretty good shape. Doesn't have a transmission, and the engine is gone. As much as I'd like to have the original matching numbers for the engine and the body, I just don't have it. So we're going to have no other choice but than to use the engine out of the other car. Now the engine in the other car runs. We've only had it started up enough to maybe move it back and forth in the driveway a little bit. And that engine is doesn't have a gas tank, so in order to get it running in the way it is right now, the one we just looked at over on the parts car, is you have to take a tank of gas and put it underneath of the hood, and we have to hook an electric fuel pump up to the battery and force gas into the carburetor, and it runs. But it was a barn find, that car was. So again, in the early 80s, it's got that old oil in it and stuff, so they're not really trying to run it too much. The other car had holes rusted through the hood and everything. This one seems to be real nice. And it looks like, you know, they did start doing a little something to it. It's got some paint on it. As you can see right here, the old air conditioning compressor, we're probably going to get rid of that and put a brand new one, because it's important for us to actually have this car that we're building here as a daily driver. And we're trying to save it, bring it back to life. We're going to bring it back to the way it was when it was brand new, with a couple of modifications, a little bit of modernizing it, and it's actually going to be preserved as a piece of history, so that people in this generation and future generations can actually take a look back at this car. It was a very unique car. And some people don't like this car, some people love the car, and the ones that do, it's almost like an occult following. You know, it's a very popular car now. Wasn't so much in its time. It's very unique. No other car was ever made that kind of looks like it. People say it looks like the Batmobile. People say it's pimp as hell. Some people make low riders out of them, put big tires on it and all this and that. I think we're going to keep the original rally rims. I have 2 sets of these rims. And they're actually in very, very good shape. I've got 8 of these rims. And it looks like to me that they put brand new tires on this car. And these brand new tires still have the little pieces, the little flappy things on them that come on the tires when they're brand new. So I think we'll probably use these. They are, let's see what kind they are. Where are they going to look? The Goodyear. Now the original, G-O-O-P-E-R. What the hell does that say? Cooper. That's not a Goodyear. Cooper tire. T-R-E-N-D. That's a Cooper trendsetter. Let's see. Never heard of that. What would originally came on here would have been Michelin tires. As you can come back here and you can look at the back of this car and get a nice look down the body of it. It's a nice straight body. Now it did come from up north, and there's a little bit of rust and some holes and stuff around in the bottom sections of the car, which is most of the rust damage. It will need some trunk pans. And now we're going to go take a little look at the seats, the original seats that came in this car that we put inside of our trailer out back. Now this will give you a little idea of what the seats that look like when they come out of these cars. They're diamond tuft, and these are actually white. They're very heavy, and this is what the back of the seat looks like. And if you'll look underneath of it, it has all the motors and the servos and the electrical parts and stuff underneath of it, because it was an electric seats, electric bucket seats. All this is in excellent shape. I see no rust under the bottom of it. The electronics looks good. It looks like it was in really good shape, and probably at one point even garaged. So we're going to recover these seats and they're going to be black. They're going to have the same design, the diamond cuff look, and it'll be black and everything. And this is, so that's it. This is the other one. This would be the passenger side seat. Let's see if this is an electric seat or not. This actually is not an electric seat. It's just the kind of seat where you pull the lever and it slides back and forth and stuff like that. So it's not an electric seat. So those are the seats that came out of the car. This is a little view of what the dash in this car looks like. Now this car actually doesn't have the 8-track player. I'm not sure if that's the original radio that came in it or not. So we'll have to try to find one that's got an 8-track player. Notice how the dash kind of wraps around. And if you look here, it's got the little swirls and stuff and everything in the aluminum that came on the dash. But the dash on this car, it has a clock, a speedometer, odometer, gas, fuel, and stuff like that. It has lights in it that let you know if something goes wrong. And usually when you see that light, you've got some trouble. So what we're going to do in the new car, when we finish this, is we're going to actually take and put some oil pressure gauge and a temperature gauge and stuff like that in the console in a place that is not going to be up in the middle part of this. I've seen them put it like facing to the left side, all the way up at the front, up under the edge of the dash, which is pretty cool. And I think that's kind of necessary so we don't incur any damage to the car. My 1971 Buick Riviera boattail, and I want to try to get it on the road. I know it's going to be a lot of work, and as we do this project, we're going to be making a series of videos that actually charts the progress of this restoration, and we're going to be making many videos from start to finish. So far we've done actually nothing to the car, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to strip this rust off of here, and I'm going to put something on it that's going to protect it at least long enough until I can afford to get it on the road and actually to a shop to be able to do something with it. And so if you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, there's links in the video that you can click. Also, I'd like for you to subscribe so you can see future videos that we make on this car. It's a very unique, very awesome car that you don't see. In fact, the last time I saw one of these cars was back in the 1980s, and it was in another town. So I live in Williamsburg. I've never seen another car like this here at all, anywhere. You don't see them in car shows. You might see them in other states, but you don't see them in my state. You don't see them anywhere around here locally. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes out. It'll be the car that I keep indefinitely and pass down. We're not going to let it get any further than what it already is, and we're going to actually preserve it, fix it up, and so that many generations down the road in the future can enjoy this car. This car was made in 1971, so that makes this car, what, 45 years old. It's a 45-year-old car. So I think it's important to try to preserve these best as we can, and it's just one badass ride, man. Just take one last little walk and look around it before our phone overheats again. And I never really paid much attention, but actually this bumper's, the bottom part of this bumper's in really good shape. Very good shape. Look at that. No pitting or nothing. In fact, it's in such good shape that I think I'll pick it up and set it on top of the car and come out here and start working on the bumper. So one thing about it is, if you don't have money to sink into your car, and most people will just let it sit there and it gets too far and they think they're going to do something, and they keep thinking and thinking and thinking and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Progress is this. Even if it doesn't cost anything, if I just come out here and clean the bumper, or if I take one little piece of the interior and clean it, or move a little bit of rust off. If I take and sand a little piece of rust off here, 1 inch by 1 inch, and put some primer over top of it, then I've made progress. and you do it as you can afford it. It's supposed to be fun. We unfortunately don't have a shop to do it in, so we're going to have to do it in the shelter between these two houses outside. And maybe I might be able to send this up to my friend that used to have a shop here locally that does excellent work, and he can do this car, and he would be the choice. I'd have to send it to another state. But I think it'd be real worth the money to take this and ship it to another state. It'd probably cost me $600 or $700 to trailer this out to his shop. But when he gets done with the car, he does a car and better than any car I've ever seen, or any kind of restoration. This guy is a true artist when he does cars like that, and he would be the one that I would want to do this car. He would hand it over turnkey, and it would be better than it was when it came out of the factory, brand new. He doesn't use Bondo and body filler or nothing like that. He welds stuff in with new pieces and panels and stuff like that. And when he's done, you can't see a seam or a ripple. It looks like it was always there when it came stamped out of the factory. He is the best car person I've ever seen, so he would be the choice that I would get to do this. And unfortunately, he lives in another state that I can't get to, so I won't be able to actually be there and see it all, but I can get in to make a couple of videos as we're doing it. And hopefully one day we'll be making the last video of this car when it's completely finished, and we'll actually take a drive in it, do a test drive, and we'll check out all these features that came standard on this car. So again, please click the links at the end of the video and subscribe to my video and my channel, and I look forward to making future updates